became a dream about 2 years ago when we started thinking about how are we going to decorate Buena Vista Street in Cars Land. And we knew the most important thing was to keep the theming and the show as accurate as possible. We spent 6 months just looking at ways that we could make 1920s, 1930s come alive. So what you're seeing is about 100 people's very, very hard work. A lot of research, a lot of design effort, and a lot of pre-thought. Before Buena Vista Street was even built, we sat down with the Imagineers and we looked at all of the blueprints, and we said two things. One, we want to make sure that it's accurate what we're doing, and two, we want to hide the infrastructure. We want to make sure that our guests can't see all the hardware and they can't see all the electrical to the best of our abilities. So when we sat down and we looked at it, we decided we're going to put in threaded inserts in all the buildings so that when the decor comes away, we have to just put little caps on the buildings and it basically goes away. You never see entry points, you never see hardware. We also looked at where is the best fit for all of our electrical, because we know we wanted to electrify everything in the way they would have done in the 20s. So months and months went into just looking at the infrastructure and how we can do it. We were so successful, it's now become the global standards of new construction is to always consider Christmas decorations during the actual design and build out of facades globally. We're just going to take a stroll down Buena Vista Street and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our thought process and where we were. First of all, what you're going to see is brand new, never before used cedar garlands. This is not a preserved garland. This is actually garlands that are made in China. They're made from real cedar, and they've got a 7-year life expectancy, which is great for us because we plan on being here at least 7 years doing it. When we looked at the types of decor that they had in the 20s and 30s, it was very light, obviously in and coming out of the Depression. They didn't put a lot into decorations. And so what they did do, though, is they used oversized bells, hollies, and a lot of cedar. And here at Disneyland Resort, we wouldn't naturally use real cedar. We're going to use the closest thing, and this is what you're seeing here. When our designers looked at this, they also wanted to bring a little bit of a Disney flair to it. And of course, a lot of the things in the 20s and 30s were not lit. If you go back and you look at, they used a lot of tinsel garland. They used a lot of kind of bright, shiny things like we've tried to do with our holly. But then we also looked at the mission bells, and we really wanted to play off the building facades and that kind of mission feel. And we thought it'd be great to have these wonderful mission bells that are custom made just for us, where we can hang them. They're in 2 different sizes, and each of them build on that decor. I don't want to leave out the windows because this is just those gems that a lot of people pass on their way to Radiator Springs. We have amazing designers, and I just want to give a shout out to Dawn Keene, Jennifer Lipinski, Ramona. This is part of my team. These ladies and gentlemen have worked very hard to be as accurate as possible, even down to manufacturing their own Christmas paper. So we've looked at the different types of Christmas paper that were available, and then we've created our own through Photoshop, Photo Illustrator, and then had them printed. So what you're seeing here is a beautiful blend of very traditional 1920s and 30s and our current Disneyland California Adventure merchandise. The thing that we've done, we have tried to do in a way that you're not going to see it at Disneyland. We wanted it special for California Adventure, but we also wanted it to be something that you wouldn't see in any other Disney theme park as well. About 18 months ago, I set out to design this Christmas tree, and my thought process on this was we wanted to showcase a tree that was unlike any other tree at our Disney parks, not only in the types of branches that we use, which are very similar to the Disneyland branches, but in the way that it was constructed and in the thought process of the ornaments on it. My boss, Karen Hedges, who's the Director of Horticulture and Resort Enhancement, we sat down, we pulled all of our grandmothers' and great-grandmothers' decor from the 1920s and 30s, and we laid it all out on the table. And then we brought WDI Imagineering in, and we sat down and said, what makes the most sense? And what we landed on were these great angels, which were handmade angels back then, the Santa heads, the snowmen, there's reindeer in the tree now, there's some pixies. Everything that you see on the tree that I just talked about, these are custom made, these are hand sculpted for us, very similar to what was used in the 30s. You cannot buy these anywhere. Okay, these are one-of-a-kind items for California Adventure. We also looked back at the great lighting they had in the 20s and 30s, and Noma had come out with a Noma-style bell with silly symphonies and the Disney characters on it. And we looked at that, and we wanted to mimic that. So it's not a copy, but it is mimicking the idea. We were able to create 8 different style bells that light up from inside that have our Disney characters from the 20s on them. The tinsel garland, of course, most trees had tinsel garland throughout Hollywood and LA in the 20s and 30s, and we thought, we've got to have tinsel garland. We've never done that, believe it or not, at the Disneyland Resort, either at Disneyland or California Adventure, to have garland like this as a predominant piece of the tree, so we decided to do that this year. When we built the tree, we did the same type of thing we did for Disneyland. 3 countries built it. China built the molded pine tip branches, Mexico built the interior branches, and the infrastructure of the tree was built here in the US. Bringing the 3 countries together and all the product and then assembling it is our biggest challenge. Then we had all of the lighting to put on, and then the decor. It takes about 2 months for that entire process. When we bring it into the park, we had something we've never had to deal with before, which is our catenary wires. So we started doing tests, believe it or not, with our Main Street tree, where we brought the Main Street tree out, and we started lifting it over the catenary wires to see what is the best and most safest way to install this tree. I am very proud to say this tree took us 2 hours to install, building it here with 1 crane, 15 people, amazing tech services, and our Disneyland crane team. They had it lit and ready within 4 hours. So we even beat our Disneyland tree installation. A little bit about the bottom of the tree. We really set out, we wanted something different. We wanted to tell a story. We wanted to tell the story of Walt. So if you have a chance to walk around the tree, I'll talk it. But this is a replica of the Longview train that Walt took across country when he first came to California. The train is very unique. You can't run it, but it does have smoke, sound, and lighting. And it's very cool when you're sitting next to it and it starts chugging, the smoke actually reacts to the sound inside the train. As you go around the corner, we have a replica of the Carolwood barn that when the train stops, or at least when the sound stops, the Carolwood barn lights up. And then as you make your way around, we've given a nod to some great Christmas toys that Disney had produced in the 30s, and we've remanufactured those, as well as some dollhouses and gingerbread men. Again, here we looked at wrapping paper that was specific to that time period. We have designed all of our own wrapping paper. This is not anything you can buy. Nobody else is using it. It was designed specifically for us, printed and painted on our gift boxes.